Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the Necromancer hero class that is now available through a class challenge for today only, so let's get into that. If we go click over to this, or if we go click over to games and click on the class event itself, we will be brought to this page. To keep in mind, as I mentioned, this only does last for 24 hours, so you have to complete it within the day, kind of like how the 24-hour pet thing works. This class is already within the game, but it is the Necromancer class. It's considered one of the weakest possible classes within the game, but it is pretty good at obtaining souls. If you haven't already obtained the class, even if you haven't completed out the questline, there'll be a button here which you can go do to go and obtain the class. You'll want to do that before you do anything here. As far as the rewards and everything, it's the same thing as usual, just a little bit of EXP, and if you really wanted to go for it, you can end up getting an orb from it. Pretty easy to make a leaderboard for these, as not too many people bother going for it. Other than that, it just gives you the standard little bit of EXP and stuff in the shop, nothing unique. This weapon you can easily get in 250 gems. It is noteworthy that it is actually the best weapon in the entire game that is obtained specifically from a hero class. It is all enemies for a pretty decent amount of damage, as well as death marking the weakest and strongest, but do keep in mind, all you have to do is win 250 wins with this hero class and you automatically get it, so you can pretty much ignore that. It isn't really a weapon you need to worry about. As far as teams to use for these battles, of course, it's the same thing as normal. You just have 5 of these, you go through cycles of them. After you do 5, you get another 5, and you just hope you get enough Val Ravens to be able to make it pretty far. So we'll go into this battle right here. The battle, or the team I specifically have been using, is Mang, Skeleton, and Double Azurus. Keep in mind, you are restricted to not only the kingdom, but also the type within the kingdom. So we're restricted to specifically the Kedar Undead. So as you can see, these are all the Kedar Undead currently within the team. Your cheapest possible option would be to build something along the lines of a Mang, or if you don't have Mang from 40 Brown, 40 Red Hero Mastery, you would instead want to use the Earth's Fury that ended up coming in through Invasion or the Soul Forge for this week, so make sure to pick that up if you don't have a Mang, as it would be pretty helpful for this, and you'd basically just use it with a Skeleton. Other strategy could be triple Wall of Bones if you wanted to, and other than that, you could try triple Fair Draws and other kind of mix match. Maybe even a Keeper Souls instead of a Skeleton. I personally prefer Skeleton though, as it can spam a lot quicker and just has a lot more control over its skulls, since you do automatically gain 100% chance of extra turn. Could even use both of them together. But basically, your bottom line is you're either using Skull Spam or you're using Fair Draw Spam. That's pretty much all you have as options, given that most other things within these choices aren't really going to get you this far. But we're going to be running +2 brown, +1 purple, -1 yellow banner. Of course, that does nothing. Basically, we rush up Mang as quickly as we can. We're starting this hero class with half mana as one of the perks that it ends up getting nicely, so we'll be able to have that. And just rush up our mana on Mang immediately, throw it on the highest armor, or at least the most annoying thing, which is actually both in this particular battle. This one has 40% skull reduction, so we're going to want to do that on him, since he's going to be the hardest one to actually kill with skulls. We'll then just get a Skeleton down, and Skeleton is common, so everyone has it pretty much. So definitely just utilize that, get it into the weapon, you just get a gigantic amount of attack, and that combo alone is enough to win. We have these Azuruses here for the two main reasons. One is on their final trait, they ended up giving you additional purple mana, which is really nice. Though it does require you to be fully traded, but you'll need that troop anyways for when you eventually make soul farming teams, if you haven't already have them. So we'll go and just take some reds there. Mainly just want to try finding purple at this point, since we already threw down a Mang, but of course we can still poke down on some Mangs if we want to. He then gives us a skull, very nice. Doesn't get anything else out of it. He just pokes us. Grab all that blue, which we don't need, like everything else. I'll go get a Mang here, since actually our skull would have still killed, but let's go to that. And all we have to do now is just hit him twice, which if we could ever find some purples, we'd be able to do. Take a skull down, and just need to find one more, and down it goes. As far as this event this week, I wouldn't really bother messing with it much. The EXP rate that you gain here is relatively slow, mainly because the synergies that you have are abysmally bad. So not really worth doing this. If you are looking to actually get class EXP for this class, your best option is to just go to Explore and wherever you feel like exploring. So let's go to Mist of Scales for now. Just click on Explore and use some kind of team like this. Standard Sunbird, Rowan, Firebomb with your hero using literally any weapon. One cheap option that you can use is a fully maxed out Striking Lance. This ends up doing 5 additional damage to the first slot, and you can kind of double kill with it occasionally, which is kind of cool. And you mainly just use this as a really low mana cost, high concentrated damage, and there aren't really any good brown options for it. So we're just using this thing. But yeah, basically the whole team is Sunbird, Rowan, Firebomb. You're going to want to revamp your traits though. There are a couple different ways that you can actually use the traits on the specific, or the perks on the specific hero class. As you saw in that previous battle where you were using it more offensively, we were using it with the extra life to purples, the chilling death, which ends up giving a freeze, which is pretty nice whenever we end up getting a kill. One of the better abilities actually on this. We also can go and opt for 2 additional magic if in last slot, which in some instances can actually be pretty decent. This is one of the bigger reasons why you actually use this hero class. It can gain 1 soul absolutely every single turn, which is, well, a lot of souls, especially if your battle is going to go on forever. Technically, if a battle takes 36 turns and you win, that is automatic full souls, or 40 turns if you don't end up winning. You can also start it with half mana, which is pretty nice, and alternatively, you can also set it to a Dark Storm, which is also really useful, which we'll be utilizing right now for what we're about to be doing. Other than that, you can get a lifesteal, which is pretty decent. Every single time you take an extra turn, you end up siphoning life from the first slot on the enemy team, and you do get to keep this life. So you get an extra turn, you steal their 2 life, and it just goes right to you. You can get Stealthy, which can help keep your hero alive from casting. Not only that, but it also has one of the few instances of reduction in this game. Only hero classes currently have this, but it has spell reduction on it, which will reduce the effectiveness of spells. So this combined with Stealthy can make you really well immune to basically casts. Of course, it won't really help you against like Ubistats and stuff like that, but as far as just general casts, particularly single targets, this can be a very, very helpful combo, and one of the best combos in the game for actually negating out specific magical related abilities. It also has the highest magic gain for any one of the object related ones, like the specific weapon types, and it gives a 4 magic to artifacts. There aren't too many artifacts that are over the top. There are definitely several, though most of them I don't believe are purple. Other than that, one of the other better things that it gets is +1 to purple. This actually really helps put this team together when using it for soul farming. Unfortunately, I don't currently have it, but it is very, very nice to have. And definitely from the 70 to 100 soul grind can very help you out a lot. Other than that, if you're running just for quick explore, you can also start off with a death mark at the beginning of battle. So if you don't win in the very first turn, you'll have that 10% chance to instantly kill one of the random enemies. And other than that, it has one of the best finals. Assassin is also has this and uses it slightly better than this hero class, but it has a 7% chance to assassinate the last enemy whenever you get a kill. So this is really good against summoners, as well as just possibly randomly getting a additional hit off, which is kind of cool. One other thing to note about this hero class is it does count, as I mentioned, as a Keydor Undead. This actually is semi-applicable when using this within the context of a soul farming team, as you're about to see. So basically what we did here is we set our +1 soul every turn, our Dark Storm automatically, and ideally if you had it, you'd also set it to the +1 purple here. So what this combination now allows us to do is go do some actual soul farming. Before we do, let me just go through this battle real quick. So as I mentioned, just go to explore in any battle with something like this, just clear it out. Pretty straightforward. All you do is just take up your mana, get a firebomb down. Ideally, you'll one-shot Sunbird, and if you didn't one-shot with Sunbird, you throw down Rowan. And if you didn't one-shot with Rowan, well, hopefully there's a skull or something, or some kind of way to quick gain mana, and you just keep click and play again, and you'll gain way more Necromancy EXP from doing this than ever actually playing the game mode. So, as far as why you would ever use this hero class, of course, as I mentioned, soul farming. So let's go over challenges. Dominion Field's first challenge. Of course, you can do it anywhere as you want, but this is one of the more common places. I'm actually going to do it on normal difficulty. Normally, you could put it on a higher difficulty, but I just want to show it on a slightly quicker rate. Going to, of course, give us slightly lower souls, but we'll be able to, normally when you're doing a Dragon Soul related team on this lower difficulty, you're not actually going to be reaching max souls normally, because you're going to gain 15 and then another 15, then you get the 4 for your kills. But you get quite a bit closer when using this hero class. Not only do you end up gaining 1 soul per turn, but if you happen to have fully traded this hero class, you also get the benefit of gaining 1 soul every single time you extra turn, basically meaning you could possibly close that last 6 soul gap that you would normally have when only double casting with a Dragon Soul, which is very nice. Other than that, one thing you might notice is the pet bonuses. If you happen to have all the components of this team, of course you can downgrade to double Azurus or double Warlocks, but if you happen to have this specific team of Dragon Soul, Ferret Shra, Azurus, and any purple weapon, ideally Sun and Moon, but literally any of them would be fine, you would end up getting the bonus of a lot of magic. This is particularly useful for the Dragon Soul to get a few more explosions. Even if you're at a lower level, you'd still be able to get all those extra explosions. As you can see, each one of these bonus gives you a extra magic. Undeads give you magic, Kedar gives you magic, and of course, pure purple of 4 different uniques purple end up giving it to you. Of course, you will lose these bonuses if you go double Ferris Raw or double Azures or any other combo. But basically, this team is a substitute for if you don't have fully traded Umbra Wolf, and in some instances could potentially even be better than fully traded Umbra Wolf if you had this at level 70 or higher. You would definitely need it to be level 70, I believe, for it to technically be better than Umbra Wolf, but for some people that might actually be the better option, because Umbra Wolf can take a while to actually find, and even at level 40, which doesn't take too long to reach, is still really nice to have and is still a good alternative to a Umbra Wolf if you currently still don't have it fully traded or even own one. So let's get into the battle. Of course, it plays out like any kind of soul battle would go. You basically just go get the Dragon Soul up as immediately as possible. Every single time we have to turn, as I mentioned, we are getting an additional soul. We just cast this twice, and then we win out the battle. There are several other challenges you can do this in too. It's just Divinity Field first. It's just my personal favorite for it. And as you can see, we didn't actually reach the full max, but we reached a little bit higher or closer than we would have normally from just a plain old battle, but without it. As you can see, 318 souls right there. Not too bad. We also had the Dark Storm from the beginning of the battle, which of course helps it out quite a decent bit, since as long as we win out the battle in 4 turns or less, we get the full effect of this as if we just had a Umbra Wolf, and there is no other storms within this battle, so you don't need to worry about them removing your storm away from you. So this looks like this time around that it's actually going to not be able to utilize the Dark Storm. We'll see. Okay, we can go move that. Looks like we will be able to get it. And of course, Dark Storm, for any that don't know, ends up creating more purples onto the board, and this just makes it so you have a lot higher chance to actually be able to land your extra turns when you go for the Dragon Soul cast. As you can see there, ends up getting max soul this time around, which is made it possible with 2 casts due to the hero class that we're using, and we were able to get 335 souls from that battle. Of course, it can vary some depending on your bonuses, VIP, and all those other things, pets. But yeah, it's a pretty decent rate of gaining souls, and it's pretty much how you would farm up all the EXP for this hero class if you didn't want to specifically rush it down and explore. But bottom line, yeah, don't really bother with this class event. Do all your free battles if you want, which I'll definitely be doing, just finishing out this last few. But that's about it. Yeah, if you want hero EXP, or if you want EXP on this hero class, definitely much better just to either do the soul farming method like we just did there, or just to go exploring with that other team, just a standard Firebomb, Sunbird, Rowan, all that good stuff. And either of those 2 options would be much better. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And I will see you all later. Goodbye, everyone.